Hello and welcome. Long ago in the 70s, there was a little movie called The Rescuers, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
At last, after 4 years in production, comes the crowning achievement in Disney animation and storytelling.
The Rescuers was released in 1977, so this was still in the postmodern period, but let me just take a moment here and talk about how fantastic the animation is again. Oh, it made me so happy to know that this was a film in the 70s. And even though it was at the end of the 70s and it was more towards the 80s, you could see the change in animation, and the sequence, the opening sequence is so beautiful. Look at these people, look at how the people are drawn and portrayed. I am so proud. Thank you movie, for coming back and changing the animation from that post-sketch weirdness that we are finally getting away from again. Oh, I'm so happy. I love this movie already because of that. But seriously, it's a really good film. It is about a couple of mice who are part of the rescue society, and they find things to rescue or people to rescue, which is a really interesting idea. Bianca, who is portrayed by Eva Gabor,
The Devil's Eye,
who is also Duchess from The Aristocrats. So she was in a couple of films. And we have Bob Newhart.
Holy mackerel, that's it.
Who plays Bernard, the other mouse that is on this mission. And I knew him from somewhere, but I kept confusing him with Bob Hope for some reason. But as soon as I looked it up, I'm just like, yes! So he's so sweet. I'm like, I love him as a personality.
Buddy, I love you, and nothing can ever change that.
And they do a really good job. I love the chemistry between them. Even though it's just voice acting, I love how sweet the characters are. And I'm a really big fan of Bianca and Bernard together. Their mission is to rescue Penny, an orphan girl who got kidnapped by this Cruella wannabe.
where is she? Where is she?
Her name is Madame Medusa. She looks too much like Cruella.
You get down there and find the big diamond, or you will never see that teddy again.
She acts too much like Cruella. And the 101 Dalmatians was before this, so she was totally modeled after Cruella. That's my opinion. And she's an interesting villain. She's not fully evil, but she is annoying evil. So she's a good villain. Instead of puppies, Madame Medusa is obsessed with getting this large diamond. The largest diamond in the world. The Devil's Eye is what they call it. And she wants it. And so she kidnaps Penny, the orphan girl, to go down to the Devil's Bayou, which I'm assuming is New Orleans. They don't say, but it takes place in New York, so it is in America. So I'm assuming that this takes place in New Orleans and they're on a boat. And she has to get this diamond for her before she is promised to go back to the orphanage. The mice do help out. They get caught in some trouble, of course. In the end, they are able to rescue her and bring her back. And the interesting thing too is that all the animals do talk to the humans. There's no reality check in that sense. The mice can communicate with the cats, which makes sense because they're all animals, but the animals can connect. So the cat can talk to Penny as well.
You're something extra special.
No, I'm not.
Why, someday a mama and a papa will come to the orphanage. You're looking for a pretty little girl just like you.
Honest?
I'll bet my whiskers on it. But you got to believe it. Keep the faith, sweetheart.
And the mice can talk to her as well as others. But there's alligators in this film and the alligators don't talk. At least not that I remember. I didn't like them. I thought they were stupid. But it was an interesting concept, it really was. And it's a lot different of a story than we had previously in that realm. So it's a really good film, and it's really underrated because no one talks about it anymore. I feel like back then it might have been a lot bigger. Even throughout the 90s it still had presence, which will continue tomorrow because there is a sequel. But now it's gone. Now it's completely faded in history and no one talks about it. There's nothing in the parks with this film franchise at all. And I think they're a really good group. I like the characters, so I would like to see a little bit more presence with it. But we're going to continue this discussion tomorrow. We have the sequel to talk about, which came out in 1990, so a lot later. But it's called The Rescuers Down Under. So stay tuned, and as always, I hope you have a magical day, and I'll see you real soon.